Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, and welcome to this Masters of Horror Season 1 episode review video as part of my current February 2024 series where I'm taking a look at and reviewing all 13 episodes from the first season of Masters of Horror, which of course I have here on this collection, all 13 episodes, Season 1 from 2005-2006. Um, Yeah, the lighting's a little bit better there, I think. So today we're going to go ahead and take a look at a pretty interesting episode. And that's the episode Sick Girl, which is the 10th episode of the first season of Masters of Horror. It originally aired in North America on January 13th, 2006. It was directed by Lucky McKee and based on a story written by McKee and Sean Hood. So yeah, that's one we're going to take a look at today, Sick Girl. So basically this movie we're introduced to the character Ida Teeter, who's a shy entomologist who basically is a scientist that deals with bugs. That's what this episode is about, basically, bugs and body horror. Um, and she has a wide variety of insects at her home, which has caused her previous relationships to end. Her previous girlfriends have broken up with her as a result of all these insects. Then she's introduced to this beautiful and strange girl, Misty Falls, and is drawn to her. She also receives a mysterious package one day containing a large unidentifiable mantis-like insect. There's also a landlady that we're introduced to, Lena Beasley, who's concerned that Ida's pets and the effect that they may be having on her 10-year-old granddaughter Betty, who likes to disguise herself as a ladybug. Betty in turn looks up to Ida, much to Beasley's dismay, and Ida promises to keep the insects under check. Later that night, she examines the new insect and fondly names it Mick and informs her friend Max of the creature. Meanwhile, Mick escapes from his tank and attacks Beasley's pet dog, consuming the animal. The next day, Ida asks Misty out. They go on a date, and Misty asks if they can watch a movie about Texas Pixies on Ida's DVD player, which Ida accepts. Misty is introduced to Betty and the apartment through though Ida keeps her away from the bedroom where all the insects are hidden. The two get closer until interrupted by Max. Ida returns to find Misty asleep on the couch. She returns with a pillow which has Mick inside of it to give to Misty. In gratitude for Ida allowing her to stay, Misty returns the favor by seducing Ida. Unknowingly, Mick's proboscis nips Misty's ear, which Misty dismisses. So, and then the episode goes from there, and some strange things start to happen to Misty. So, that's kind of the setup and the premise of this 10th episode of Season 1 of Masters of Horror, Sick Girl. As far as the cast goes, we have Mickey McKee as Professor Malcolm Wolf. Aaron Brown plays Misty Falls. Angela Bettis plays Ida Teeter. Jesse Holbeck plays Max Grube, and Marcia Bennett plays Lena Beasley. So yeah, there you have it, to set up the premise and the cast for episode 10 from season 1 of Masters of Horror here. This is an interesting episode. It's kind of one of those in between. I didn't hate it. It's not bad, but I don't love it either. Let's just kind of get into it. I'll start with the pros. It does have some pretty good body horror. As I said, this episode's all about bugs and body horror. I would say the first 2/3 of the episode is mostly bugs, as well as this blossoming relationship. And then the final part, the final third of the episode is how these bugs come together with this relationship and basically all hell breaks loose as a result. But I thought the body horror was good, especially given the practical effect used for the most part towards the end of the episode in particular. I thought it was really cool looking and effective. So yeah, the body horror is pretty good here. It has some blood and gore. Again, mostly towards the end of the episode. There's one scene where a side character ends up getting killed by this, let's just say a morphed insect, if you will. And it's pretty gnarly. There's a lot of blood involved, and so that was pretty cool. It really sticks out as the one death scene in particular. I thought the performances were good, especially by the two main leads, Angela Bettis and Aaron Brown. Of course, Angela Bettis is probably most known for the movie May from about 3 or 4 years before this. And actually, I think Lucky McKee directed that too. that's one of many movies on my watch list. I've never seen it before, but I've heard that her performance is really good, and this is kind of a similar performance by all accounts. It sounds like, where basically she plays the sort of awkward, shy, kind of out there, oddball sort of character, and then she really does a good job of that in this episode. So I imagine that in the movie May she probably does as well. At least that's what everybody says. But I thought she was really good, and then Aaron Brown, who was actually kind of a soft porn star, I believe, prior to this. She plays Misty. I thought she does a really good job, especially when her character kind of changes towards the end of the episode. So, yep, two good leads here, good acting. They had good chemistry between them as well. Both kind of socially awkward, but kind of in an adorable way, kind of like, oh, that kind of thing. It's not like, it's awkward, but it's not like cringy awkward. It's more like sweet awkward, if that makes any sense to anybody. This episode has a lot of pretty tongue-in-cheek kind of comedic tones to it, much like the previous episode that I reviewed by John Landis. This is, I mean, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not an overly serious episode. It definitely has fun with this premise. And so that's kind of, again, like I mentioned with the last episode, it knows what it is and it doesn't try to play it straight. Because this is kind of, I mean, let's be honest, it's kind of a silly concept. And so usually the episodes or the movies that are bad are when they try to take a silly, over the top premise and try to play it serious. Jaws: The Revenge would be a good example. There are some interesting and unique visual effects used as well. Just visuals overall, particularly when we are seeing things through the eyes of this bug that she receives. The first part of the episode mainly is where we see this, and it kind of looks like, it's almost like night vision or something like that, when we're seeing through the bug's eyes, how the bugs view the people that it's looking upon. So I thought that was really interesting and cool. So yeah, those are my pros for Sick Girl. As far as cons go, the first 2/3 of this episode is being introduced to a bug, and then it's a lot of awkward relationship stuff, dialogue back and forth. Not much really happens in a sort of horrific way or a horror episode kind of way. So you really have to. It's a slow burn, I guess, if you want to say. There are some pretty big gaps in logic throughout the episode, particularly as it relates to this bug, who's basically hiding in this pillow for the majority of the episode, and how either of these characters don't realize that. I mean, this isn't a little ant or a fly or something. This is a huge bug that you definitely be able to feel through the pillow. So the fact that a lot of time goes by unnoticed until the end for the majority of the episode is pretty ridiculous, as well as one character end up having an oozy, gross bitten ear that the other character never seems to see, or has no, what am I trying to say here? They don't notice it. That's kind of hard to believe. So there's definitely some logic gaps there. There's one scene where a character is showing some of the let me start over. There is one scene of a character who's showing some of their newfound morph bug features that looks a bit CGI'd, and I'm talking about a scene where she basically is confronted by this landlady towards the end of the episode. If you know, you know, if you've seen the episode. But that didn't look good. The side character of Max also was kind of a one-note, sort of perverted sort of character that really didn't add much to most of the episode. Yeah, he's basically trying to pleasure himself when he's talking to his co-worker, which is Angela Bettis, or Ida Teeter here, played by Angela Bettis. As you know, she's talking about this, this new relationship she has with Misty. And it's just kind of like, that's just weird, man. It's just, I don't know. That didn't do anything for me. Overall, this is just it can be a kind of gross and unpleasant episode, but it's not scary. It's not really horrific or anything. I mean, I suppose if you were there and you saw a human turn into a bug, it might be. Kind of like The Fly from 1986. Now, of course, this is nowhere near as good as that, either from a bug standpoint or a body horror standpoint. But, yeah, if you're somebody that's creeped out by insects and bugs, you're going to find this kind of an unpleasant episode to watch. Kind of gross, but certainly not scary. So, yeah, I don't know, guys. It's fine. I mean, that's kind of how I view this episode, like a few of them that I've reviewed so far. And like those few, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. I don't love it, but it's certainly not a bad episode from a technical standpoint. Everything's fine. The performances are good. I just think the premise for me, it's not really something that really stands out for me or scares me or excites me all that much. But I did enjoy it, and I could see watching it again. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for Sick Girl, episode 10 from season 1 of Masters of Horror from 2006, early 2006. Go ahead and comment down below if you guys have seen this episode, what you think of it. Do you like it more than I do? Less? Why not? Comment down below. Please like this video, hit the little notification bell down below so you don't miss any of my upcoming reviews for this series. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel as well so you don't miss any of my great horror content. Not only the rest of this series, but what I have coming out for the next 7-8 months planned out. So, a lot of good stuff out there. So, with that being said, I hope you guys are enjoying this review series. Hope you're doing well, and as always, stay scared. Bye.